Total downpour right now, but update. Old crappy wheels going bye-bye today. New wheels are gonna look good. L tires. Alrighty. Cheap Chevy latches. We swapped out our really crappy tires off the whatchamacallit, and we put new tires on the old 14s from the AMC. Those will go in the dark. And I really hope these fit, because these look sick. Alright, I got them a little dusty, but fronts looking good. 15's looking mean. They're wider. They're sick. Backs absolutely looks amazing. Much wider, but boom, boom, boom. There's not a lot of clearance. Not a lot. That's gonna be close. I don't have a warm fuzzy feeling. There are things I can do, but we'll address that later. But way better than those little 14s. Well, hindsight being what it is, there's actually no issue there. You know, I jacked it up by the axle, which that's the suspension at max travel. So I do know that if my suspension ever completely bottoms out, I would hit. However, looks like I'll have plenty of clearance. One thing I did forget though, when I went over to Dad's to change the tires, I forgot one wheel. It was a rainstorm. Sometimes I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So, gotta change this last one out. Alright, we got the Amazon Avengers. And the last wheel that I forgot. Oh yeah. Little Bassetts. You wanna go in my car? You do. And you will. Nothing brings a car back to life like actually having wheels and tires on it. And these look mean. Now, I do barely have clearance here. I have better clearance on the other side. So I'm not sure why she's sitting lopsided, but she is. We'll have to address that. However, gosh, these look good. I like them. I do like them. Ordered that. I mean, I guess I could grind off the body filler and see how bad it is before that arrives. I'm sure I don't want to do this, but let me move this stuff before I do. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh. Yeah. Shouldn't have touched it. Oh, these screen. That's disgusting. Yep. Okay. But, same as the other side. I'll have to make the pats there. We got some major badness going on in here. So this whole section, probably, I'll have to grind it out, but probably from that body line down, needs replaced. Again, boy, AMC must have been better at designing rocker panel drainage and stuff. Little spot here. The rest of that rocker looks perfect. What we got for a quarter, or a fender? A little spot at the bottom. I think this is all surface here. Yeah. So not bad. Oh, that's my redditor. Supposed to fit. It's really close. I just need a little more time. So this spot on the roof, I've been stripping the paint. I'm gonna have to fix this. Hopefully I don't have to pull the windshield, but I'm probably pulling the windshield, which sucks. Significantly more aggressive than what it had with those 14s. So normally I buy my rear ends from, I always pronounce it funny, but Leflingers in Utica, and they've never let me down. They help load it. It comes complete. There's no weird charges, etc. Never had a problem. But this rear end, they did not have. So what this is a 2000, well, we'll just say 3rd gen, because at this point I believe nothing. So I ordered this from LKQ. They have a bunch of them, but the only one close enough they would ship it to one of their other locations was in Colorado. So they told me it was a Monday. They said, hey, it'll be here by Wednesday. Well, Wednesday came. I showed up. Wasn't there. Came back another day. Wasn't there. Went to Pennsylvania. Came back a week later. Still wasn't there. Then they said it'd be there. Then it wasn't there. And then now it's Thursday. So anyway, 11 days after it was supposed to be there, it's finally there. Regardless, they did not mention that they said because I'm not putting in a Ranger, I won't get a warranty, which is fine. Nowhere on there did they mention a core charge. So I'm sitting here, so not only, okay, bud. Not only do I not have a warranty, which I really don't care about because I'm going to beat the living hell out of this thing, but they're going to charge me $180 for a freaking core charge on a rear end they didn't know I don't have. And at this point, yeah, they mention it there because now I've been waiting for 11 days. So sure, I paid it. Whatever, it's only an extra $180 freaking dollars. But they have the rear end I want. They got me. Okay, so I go out there. Now, when I get rear ends from the regular place, they actually disassemble things nicely. This place, whatever, they cut it. Okay, okay. For $500 frickin' dollars, you cut everything. But did you have to take the frickin' brake, the drums? Did you have to take the? I'll show you in a second. They took the frickin' yoke off the front. Now they already know I'm putting this in an AMC. They took the yoke off the rear end. So they know I'm going to need that yoke and I'm going to need that drum. So the reason I buy the rear ends from these places is because typically I get it for like $300 and I don't have to go pull it. It'd be cheaper if I went and pulled it. I don't feel like wrestling these things around. Instead, I spent $500 on a rear end that I now have to go get new drums for. And I have to get a new yoke for. So rack that on up to $750. Plus whatever else it needs. We are going to call this $1,000 rear end. The last time that I ever do business with LKQ. Because this is not the first time I got burned. The last time I got burned was on our first LS swap, where they swore that the LQ4 and 4L80E had run together in a vehicle. They in fact had never ran together. And it became freakishly obvious that they had never ran together because the flywheels are different. Or flex plates are different between a 4L60 and a 4L80E. Therefore, they could have never, ever, ever been together. So they just grabbed some random two-wheel drive 4L80E and they grabbed some random LQ4 and they said, yeah, they've been together. Yeah. So for $3,000, you know, that was some bullshit. And then now this is ridiculous. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I think on the receipt, I think they did give me a warranty now, based on the receipt, since they charged me the core charge. But frankly, if this breaks, I'm going to go find another one from somewhere else. I have zero faith in this thing. I have nothing. And I should have just walked away. Yeah, even, you know, I got 2 bolts here that are loose, the rest are tight. I should have just walked away from this. Unfortunately, I paid before I saw it. I would not have bought it if I knew it doesn't even have, it's not even a rear end. And the title is Rear End Assembly. So every other rear end I get from the similar place Gives me everything. It has the brakes, it has the yoke, it has everything. Like fresh out of a vehicle, ready to put in another vehicle, hopefully. Those guys even pull it apart and check it over. They're awesome. And that was $300. This is going to be double the price and half the quality. A quarter of the quality. So, yeah. I will never do business with them again. That is LKQ in Lincoln. Thanks for nothing. Now, I don't run into this stuff with my engine guy either. Cannot remember what his place is called, but I always message him, hey, do you have this? He actually lets me see it run before he rips it out the vehicle. That's why I know this 5.3 liter is a little on the high side for mileage, but it runs. The AR5 is about mid-range. Also, fully freaking functional. I mean, and I paid $500 for the AR5, which is a good deal. Paid $600 for the motor, getting to see it run about 10 minutes before he yanked it out of there. That is not a bad deal. This, I got no idea. I don't think I can trust him. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know nothing. I do know that it's a limited slip. Oh, speaking of that, the one that I was looking at was a 411. I told them I wanted an 8.8 411. They gave me, and I was hoping for the 9-inch brakes, but the brakes aren't bad. It's got 10-inch. So it's got the 10-inch brakes. It is an 8.8, but it's a 373. So that's not the end of the world. I mean, 373 is not a bad gear. But I wanted 411 because how often do you swap rear ends? I mean, how often do we do this? You know? Not all that often. This isn't an everyday occurrence that you just do. This is a once in a while, hey, I need a rear differential. Granted, this is my third rear differential this year, but I needed it. And this is what I get. It'd be one thing if this was just the cheapest thing out there. If I was paying cheaper than everybody else's prices, sure. But I would like to know how all of these other small town junkyards, small town pick and pulls, are able to do all of this and get me a good product and be courteous and everything else at a decent price. Whereas, I mean, the only thing this thing's got going for it is it's got a pallet. It is a neat pallet. That is it. That is a solid pallet that I purchased. So yeah, it's gonna work. I'm just disappointed. Very disappointed. The dollar doesn't go as far as it used to when you run into stuff like this. Building cars is expensive enough before you get ripped off by some large company. Anyway, that's my rant. Now, I mean, I guess, sure, if I had a rear end that I was swapping, maybe it has a yoke. But how would they know that? How would they know that? Why would they go through the work to remove it? Now, see, they cut everything else. They just cut everything else. I guarantee they remove that for scrap. And they remove those for scrap. So they can make some extra money. And they went ahead and made the extra money off me with the bullshit core charge that they would have just scrapped. So, here we are. Rip off rear end. Well, hopefully my ridiculously overpriced 17-year-old rear end, you know, hopefully it at least works. All I have time to do right now is set this on the ground. Because I gotta go, oh shoot, we're stuck. I gotta fix that. No more camera. Now, the Ford Ranger 8.8 should be the same bolt pattern. Hopefully these wheels will actually go on this rear end and I can roll it out of here. It's so windy. Okay, at least that part's right. Nope, not that one. Had to go through my junk lug nut file. It only needs a couple. It's just going to roll across the yard. Sweet. That'll make that getting in the garage a lot easier. These tires I also changed last night. They're the original Rambler wheel, and we just put new 14s on them. Mostly so that they can go on the dart, so the dart can actually roll around. But they'll double for helping me get this rear end of the garage. I love it when a plan comes together. Ow! How did that even happen? What am I doing wrong here?